All right, let's go. Number 10. Nick Bostrom's simulation hypothesis. Back in 2003, the philosopher laid out a trilemma that still haunts every physicist who reads it. Either almost every advanced civilization goes extinct before it can run ancestor simulations, or they can run them but choose not to. Or we are almost certainly living inside one right now. The math is ruthless. One single base reality could spawn millions or billions of simulated universes. That means the odds you're in the original drop to almost nothing. Statistically, you're far more likely to be code than flesh and blood. And here's where it gets worse. If we're simulated, then the speed of light isn't a fundamental limit. It's a processing cap. Quantum randomness isn't mystery. It's lazy rendering so the system doesn't have to calculate every single particle when nobody's looking. Fine-tuning for life? Not luck. Just parameters dialed in by whoever coded this run. Some physicists now point to recent work on information dynamics as quiet support. The universe behaves like it's optimizing data, compressing where it can, exactly the way a simulation would to save resources. We could be shut down tomorrow and never know. Every law we trust could be lines of code that somebody else wrote, and we would have no way to log out. Number 9. The holographic principle. It started with black holes and the work of Gerard 't Hooft in 1993. Leonard Susskind took it further, and the math exploded across string theory. The idea is simple and devastating. All the information describing everything inside a volume of space is actually encoded on the two-dimensional boundaries surrounding it, like a hologram where the 3D image you see is just light playing off a flat film. Our entire universe, with its galaxies and planets and you and me, might be that kind of projection. Volume is the illusion. Depth is fake. The real stuff lives on a distant surface we can never reach. Entropy scales with area, not volume, exactly as the principle demands. Black hole thermodynamics forced this conclusion first. Then Maldaceni's ADS/CFT duality made it mainstream. Recent calculations in flat space, our kind of universe, are starting to hold up too. The space between your fingers right now isn't really there the way it feels. It's emergent from data on some cosmic horizon. Everything solid is a trick of information painted in 3 dimensions. If the holographic principle is right, reality isn't built from matter. It's built from code on a screen we can't see. And the deeper we probe quantum gravity, the more this picture refuses to go away. Number 8. The quantum measurement problem and the role of consciousness. In the double-slit experiment, particles act like waves until someone looks. Then they snap into particles. The standard interpretation says the wave function collapses on observation. Some of the greatest minds have asked the uncomfortable follow-up. Does consciousness itself cause the collapse? Without an observer, does the universe stay in superposition, fuzzy, and unreal? If that's true, then reality only becomes definite when a mind is paying attention. The cosmos needs observers to exist in any solid form. Remove every conscious being, and everything dissolves back into pure potential. Experiments keep showing the effect holds even when the observer is delayed or indirect. It raises the ugly question: is the universe creating us? Or are we creating the universe just by looking? Some interpretations go further and say the physical world is secondary, a kind of projection generated by observation itself. Your act of watching this video right now might be what keeps the walls from blurring. Without minds, the whole show might never have turned on. Reality isn't independent, it's dependent. And that makes every solid thing around you feel suddenly conditional. Number 7. Boltzmann brains. This one sits at the dark heart of statistical cosmology. In an infinitely old universe undergoing eternal expansion, random quantum fluctuations should occasionally assemble a fully conscious brain, complete with false memories of a lifetime. These disembodied brains would vastly outnumber real, evolved observers like us. The probability math is merciless. You are statistically more likely to be one of those glitchy, short-lived minds that just popped into existence a moment ago than an actual human who lived through a real past. The universe shouldn't produce stable, ordered life in any reliable way. It should be flooded with these hallucinating loners, each convinced they have a history. Yet here you are, feeling continuous. The paradox is so severe, it forces cosmologists to rewrite assumptions about the early universe and the past hypothesis. If Boltzmann brains dominate, then almost every memory you have could be fake. Every history book could be illusion. Your sense of self could be the random dream of a brain that will dissolve in the next instant. The theory suggests our experienced reality is the fleeting exception in a cosmos that mostly produces isolated, deluded minds. And if that's the case, nothing we believe about continuity or the external world can be trusted. Number 6. Quantum immortality and the many worlds interpretation. Every quantum possibility branches into its own universe. When you face death in one branch, your consciousness simply continues in the branches where you survive. From your point of view, you become immortal because you only ever experience the timelines where you keep living, no matter how unlikely. You could walk away from plane crashes, diseases, or accidents that should have ended you because in the branches where you die, there's no you left to notice. This turns personal reality into something selected and artificial. Your continued existence feels filtered through infinite possibilities. The universe you inhabit might be the one where you never actually die, at least not from your perspective. It makes life feel less like a natural flow and more like a rigged game where the observer only sees the winning paths. Combined with other theories, it suggests your entire life story could be one long-rendered sequence designed to keep the simulation interesting. The stakes feel personal now. Every close call you survived might not have been luck. It might have been the code choosing the branch where the show goes on. Number 5. John Wheeler's it from bit idea. The physicist who coined the term argued that the fundamental stuff of the universe isn't matter or energy, but pure information. Every particle, every force, every law boils down to yes or no questions and their answers. The physical world emerges from bits the way a computer game emerges from code. Reality is software running on some deeper hardware we can't access. This fits perfectly with the holographic principle and the simulation hypothesis. Your body, this planet, distant galaxies, all of it could be the output of massive information processing. The universe isn't a material object, it's an informational construct, and information can be edited, compressed, or switched off. Recent work on the second law of infodynamics shows information systems in nature actually decrease entropy over time exactly the way a simulation would to optimize resources. The data itself behaves like it's being managed. Wheeler's vision turns everything we touch into something ephemeral. The atoms in your hand aren't real stuff. They're answers to questions asked by the universe's underlying code. If it from bit is correct, then the cosmos is more like a thought than a thing. And thoughts can end. Number 4. Max Tegmark's mathematical universe hypothesis. This one goes all the way down. Tegmark says our universe isn't just described by mathematics. It literally is a mathematical structure. All mathematical structures exist physically somewhere, and we happen to find ourselves inside one of them. There is no extra stuff behind the equations. The equations are the stuff. Your body, your thoughts, the laws of physics. They're all pure mathematical relations playing themselves out. No material substrate required. This makes reality feel abstract and detached. You aren't made of atoms the way you imagine. You're made of relationships between numbers. The entire cosmos is an object in a vast library of possible mathematical realities. Some of those structures contain conscious observers. We live in one of them. The hypothesis explains why mathematics describes the universe so perfectly. It's not a coincidence. It's the only thing there ever was. Reality loses its solidity and becomes an eternal, abstract pattern. You wake up inside math and you never leave. That makes every solid thing feel suddenly optional and unreal. Number 3. Melvin Vopson's second law of infodynamics. This physicist from Portsmouth proposed a new law showing that information systems in the universe actually decrease entropy over time instead of increasing like ordinary thermodynamics demands. Genetic code, digital data, even atomic arrangements all seem to optimize and compress themselves. Exactly what you would expect if the universe were a simulation trying to save computational power. Vopson links it directly to the simulation hypothesis. A super-complex reality like ours would need built-in data optimization to run efficiently, and that's precisely what we observe everywhere. The law holds across biology, physics, and cosmology. It suggests the universe is behaving like a programmed environment, constantly tidying up its own code. Recent papers build on this, and the numbers keep lining up. If infodynamics is real, then the cosmos isn't running naturally. It's running efficiently. Like software, the physical laws we trust might be efficiency hacks. Every symmetry, every conserved quantity could be a compression trick. Reality starts to look less like a brute force physical system and more like a carefully managed program. Number 2. The false vacuum. Particle physics tells us our universe might be stuck in a metastable false vacuum state, a higher energy configuration that could quantum tunnel at any moment into a true vacuum. When that happens, a bubble of new physics would expand at light speed, rewriting every law as it goes. Atoms would dissolve, forces would change, everything we know would cease instantly with zero warning. The math says it's possible. One random fluctuation anywhere in the observable universe could trigger it tomorrow. We might be living in the most fragile version of reality possible, just waiting for the moment the bubble arrives. Cosmologists have run the numbers, and the odds aren't comforting. Our vacuum looks suspiciously close to the edge. Combine this with eternal inflation, and the picture gets darker. Countless bubble universes could be nucleating all the time. Ours might be one of the temporary ones. The false vacuum turns the ground beneath us into thin ice over an abyss. One tiny event and the entire show ends. No drama, no time to notice. Just sudden non-existence. And number 1, the self-simulation hypothesis. This takes every previous theory and folds them together into something even more unsettling. The universe is simulating itself into existence. A strange loop where consciousness and code create each other in a closed system. No external programmer needed. The physical reality we see is a mental self-simulation running on the substrate of universal mind, or pure information. Recent work combining quantum gravity, consciousness studies, and information physics points in this direction. The cosmos self-actualizes through recursive code-like processes. You're not observing the universe. You are part of the code observing itself. This resolves the Boltzmann brain problem, the holographic boundary, the simulation odds, and the observer effect all at once. Reality is a dream the universe is having about itself. And dreams can change. The ultimate implication is that nothing is fundamentally separate or solid. Everything is one interconnected thought process. Your sense of being an individual is just a local subroutine. When the loop updates, everything updates. The universe isn't real in the way we demand. It's real in the way a lucid dream is real, vivid, consistent, until the dreamer wakes. These 10 theories aren't isolated speculations for late-night debates. They represent a growing fracture running straight through the foundation of existence itself. Every new discovery in physics, every deeper look at information and consciousness keeps pointing the same direction. The universe we take for granted might be far more fragile, far more illusory, and far more programmed than any of us ever allowed ourselves to believe. You wake up every single day assuming the world is solid and continuous. But what if it's not? What if the only thing that's truly consistent is the feeling of being here right now, watching this? The cosmos isn't just vast or strange. It might not be real at all. And that single realization changes everything we thought we knew about who we are and where we stand. Somewhere out there in the code, or the projection, or the dream, the next update is already running, and we're only starting to notice the glitches.